Monday. It is Vlogtober day 6, and we're going to look at the weekly TBR to start us out today. First, we have our weekly quote, kind of a long one. It says, "Now and then in this workaday world, things do happen in the delightful storybook fashion, and what a comfort that is," from Louisa May Alcott. Yeah, it's delightful. There are delightful things that happen. You gotta appreciate the little things. Now let's see the books that I am going to be focusing on this week. It's the same as last week. First, we have Volume 0, Issue 2. I have read the first 2 stories in here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to the next one today. But yes, this is a short story collection from Book of the Month. Next, we have the main focus of the week. I don't remember what percent I'm at into. I'm over the halfway percent, maybe 60-something% of the way into this, but this is the Reformatory by Tanner Reeve Dew. This is my book club pick for the month of October. This one, it is a horror, but also historical fiction. The Reformatory is based on the Dozier School of Boys, which was in Marianna, Florida, back in the Jim Crow era. This is a school where, okay, so basically our character of Robbie, he, I'm going to say very loosely, assaults somebody. That's like what he's charged with, you know, and he gets sent away to this school, and so it's all what he's experiencing there. But the thing is, he can see ghosts, and obviously at a school like this, if you go into the history, not a lot are, you know, some of the boys did not make it back, and it was just a very like awful place filled with abuse and terrible things. And as I said, Robbie, he can see ghosts. So imagine being in such a place where so many terrible things have happened. He's getting a lot put on his shoulders there. And mind you, he is only 12 years old. Then we have his sister Gloria, who is on the outside and is fighting back to get her brother out of this place that he was unjustly sent to. My mood read is a romance because we gotta have a little lightness in here, and that is the Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Lloyd Gilmore. We have our main character, what is her name? Jeannie, who she has, so her aunt has retired and is like, Jeannie, you can run the cafe now. So Jeannie moves to this small town. I don't know what state it's in, but she's from Massachusetts, and she moves to this small town and is taking over the coffee shop, or the cafe. And on like the first day, we have Logan, who is a farmer in the town, and he delivers, you know, the produce to the cafe so they can make smoothies, whatever. And she has been hearing things in the night because she's in an old building in the old downtown area, and she's like, there's a murderer here. And she gets a baseball bat and she's ready to hit whatever it is in the head, and Logan's there, and she's like, oh, a good looking man, I'm not, and he's like, you know, a farmer. Not gonna take him out. So it's like a grumpy sunshine, small town fall romance. And lastly, we have my ebook, which I'm not really enjoying, and that is 1984 by George Orwell. I'm sure y'all have heard of this, though, dystopian classic. And those are the books that I am going to be reading this week. I am going to do our mystical morning now. So to talk about my dream last night, I had like several dreams, like, or it might have all been one, but it was all at the mall world. And I was buying like lipstick at Sephora. I think it was like the Kylie Jenner one, which I don't own any of that, but that's what it was. And I don't even know if you can buy that at Sephora, but that's what I was buying. And then there was like this big reveal that there's nuclear radiation under malls. I mean, very Stranger Things coded, if you ask me. Yeah, nuclear radiation under the mall. What do we even look up in the encyclopedia? Like, do we look up nuclear? I'm like, can't talk at all. Nuclear is not in here. Now, mall world, when I've mentioned that in several videos, is a lot of people have these dreams that they're at a mall and it's like, you know, the same mall that all these multiple different people are seeing. And it's in people's dreams. And okay, so this is what the encyclopedia says seeing a mall, market, or marketplace means. Points to the dreamer's social connections. This image shows how you behave towards the outside world and what your connections are to that world and how you are dependent upon it. If it is a lively marketplace, it means public contact, commerce, nervousness, chaos, which I saw, like, you know, a decent, like there were people at the mall. An empty marketplace points to loneliness. Possibly it is also a mirror of your interpersonal relationships or your particular awareness of the world around you. Is it about to go nuclear? The world, my relationships? I don't know what's going on there. Now let's ask the cards, what do I need to know about my day-to-day? Get everybody out. Okay, we haven't done this bed in a while, so I need to be very careful. I don't want the cards falling off the bed, so that's why I kind of got to the middle of the bed. But we are shuffling our cards. We're going to, yeah, on I think Wednesdays I'm going to change up how I do this, because as I tell y'all every week, this is just me learning about tarot, and that is, you know, wanting to try different things. When I did my tarot reading last night, which I did the yes no thing, that was my first time doing that, I'm kind of just waiting until one flips over on its own, and if that doesn't happen, I'll draw one on my own. So I'm gonna do this for like 30 more seconds. Might do a time jump for y'all. Okay, this one kind of just landed like on my body, so I feel like, you know, that's the one that I'm supposed to pick up. And it is one we've drawn before, which is the Folly, which is XVI. So that is 10, 4, 1. So it's at 15. The 15, and I drew it in the reverse. I don't know if I've drawn this card in the reverse before, but we are just going to see. I actually haven't drawn this card in the reverse, so I need to do some research to see what it means. So let me show y'all up close. We have a tower that is breaking, and everything is coming out or coming in, whichever way you want to look at it. I think it's going out. So when I see this card, I think it means letting your emotions out, but also something is breaking. But since we have this in the reverse, I actually don't know what this means. I did get a text, and that kind of delayed my research because it was something that I'm having fun talking about. But this card translates to the tower, which I should have been able to remember that because that pretty much looks like a tower. In the reversed, what does the tower mean? It means personal transformation, fear of change, and averting disaster. And I do think all that makes sense going together. Personal transformation is a good thing, in my opinion. But it's a scary thing. Change is a scary thing, but you have to look at it with positive eyes and just knowing that it's another step in your journey and averting disaster, hopefully. By growing, having that transformation, you are going to avert disaster. Yeah, so, but with the fear of change, you still need to be cautious. So let's see. I'm going to ask the cards, can I have more clarity on which part of my personal journey this is happening in, this transformation is happening in? So again, there's probably going to be a time jump. I did have a card flip over relatively quickly, and it's one of my favorite cards, which is the Ace of Visions, which is the Ace of Cups. I did draw it in the reverse, and I mean, as you can see, we have this beautiful swan who is looking down, seeing her reflection, and it has a crown and jewelry and all on. And we did draw it in the reverse. I don't know if I've ever drawn it in the reverse. I'm pretty sure that I have, but as I said, this is one of my favorite cards. I have drawn it in the reverse. So when I was asking, where's this personal transformation happening in my life? Self-love, intuition, and repressed emotion. So I am just learning to love myself more, and that's definitely something where I have felt in 2025 just so much more confident in myself. I am going through my Venus return at the moment this week, so I do think that that can play into that as well. And yeah, I definitely have become a lot more confident, like looks wise and everything, knowing that perfection It doesn't exist, really. So I have crooked teeth. I own it. Yeah, I have crooked teeth. That's my facial structure. I can't change that in 5 minutes, so what's the big deal? Like, you know, so, because I used to be my biggest insecurity. I was like, oh, boys aren't going to like me because my teeth are crooked. Like, if he doesn't like me because of something as mundane as that, he's not worth my time. Throw that guy out. Let him have some personal transformation in his life, you know? So that is just my motive going into things. Like, if somebody doesn't like me because of how I look, I don't really want to be around that person personally. And just, yeah, so that has been my kind of journey with that this year. But yeah, thank you to the cards and thank y'all for watching, and I hope y'all had a mystical morning. I got to over the halfway point in volume 0. I read the story Inheritance by Quan Berry. This one, a lot of these just have a speculative feel to it where it's like, could happen. Like the first two, or the first one was like contemporary literary fiction. I think if you like Melissa Broder, it's not like a weird girl book, but I think if you like Melissa Broder, Milk Fed specifically, you might like this one. Then the second one, Exit Strategy, that is kind of speculative in my mind because I feel like for the normal person, no. Like it would have to be like in a Black Mirror kind of universe, but for the ultra rich, maybe it does happen. I remember during the summer there were like all these videos of like CEOs dying, but I'm like, the people were like 80 and 90 years old. So I'm like, how do we know? Like, I don't get what people were trying to say. Maybe they were trying to say what the story was. But Inheritance is set, I would say, in a future society. They're Gen N, so which is Generation Nostalgia. And they like, skincare is very like important to these people, and water, it seems to be a world that maybe is lacking water. Maybe there's a lot of drought is what it seemed to be. Again, it's very speculative, so that's why I'm like, seems to be. But I thought the end was very interesting. This last paragraph here. Shin and Gulami, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, remain seated in the now empty hot tub, even as the sun comes up, the air warm enough that they're not shivering. Each of them walled off in their own private thoughts. What would it be like to live in a world where people just kicked their problems down the road for others to sort out later? That's the line I want to talk about, because assuming this is a climate change ravaged world, and that's why there's not water, so many of our thoughts on climate change, a lot of people, I'm not saying myself, but it kind of does happen, where it's like, what can we do about it? What can I do about how can one person save the world from what is to come? Drinking out the paper straws, you know, how's that going to save the world? And I think that's a lot of us who are currently living, where it's like, save it for somebody else to deal with, not my problem. Like, I haven't had to move because of flood levels or water levels and all that, you know, so not my problem. I think so many people in this day and age are like that, and that's what these characters who are in the future is like, what would it be like to live in a world where people just kick their problems down the road for others to sort out later? I think it just shows how selfish our world is. But then this paragraph goes on. What if when love shows up, you were allowed to embrace it come what may? The sky begins to take on a pink blush. The meteor is softer, just whispers of light. In the tub, there's a scummy ring coating the fiberglass sides, a high water mark, which neither of them have ever seen before and never will again. So I really liked that last paragraph. But that is all. I have to go walk the dogs. Delilah's looking at me. So it's time to go do that. Guys, I used to think October baseball was the best thing in sports, but just, I have so much going on in October. There's just so much. Like, I went to the farmer's market to get pumpkins today, which wasn't planned, but I don't have time in the rest of the month to go do that. I had to go to Lowe's because for the condo that I'm redoing, and since it was, I had to redo it, they don't just pick out the stuff for you. You have to pick out the countertops, even though I'm going to be selling it, but I get it. But I had to go because the first Lowe's did not have any where you can take samples. They didn't have any of that, so we had to go to another Lowe's. Yeah, it's just been so hectic, and then I was putting out the decorations and getting bit by mosquitoes because they love me. But I'm not gonna have any more time to read the reformatory today since the baseball game is at 6. I love West Coast time for things. But this is, I got to chapter 30, so I read 2 chapters, getting to page 394. My 2 notes, Miss Lottie, she understands the menu. Like, I need to go back to tell y'all what kind of food she was serving because she understood the assignment. A turkey wing, greens, macaroni and cheese, cornbread. Miss Lottie, she understood the assignment. And just with Uncle June, with this whole plan he's forming, how does he know it? Like, I feel like maybe it was something earlier and I'm just forgetting that he had some kind of connection to the reformatory, but I don't remember that. So I don't know where he's getting all this information from to be able to do what he's doing. But I didn't read anything yesterday, so usually when I have that day where I don't get to read any of it, I will be confused the rest of the time. And this is another week where I don't think I'm going to be able to go to the beach to, again, deal with this remodeling stuff because I have not finished this book. I am not ahead with my reading right now in October, and it's just been so stressful because I have a really thick TBR this month, and really the rest of the year it's going to be a really thick TBR. So the plans for 2026, they're looking so nice because I'm not going, it's just not going to be like it is this year. I mean, this has just been the highest rated books, and apparently the highest rated books are long, which I tend to like long books, so it does make sense. But I think I'll be able to read later. I really don't know how long this game's gonna last because it's gonna be the earliest game yet, starting at 6:08. I'm gonna read 1984 later, but with the Pumpkin Spice Cafe and all that, I don't know if I'm gonna get to it or not. Y'all can blame the Philadelphia Phillies because we are not getting to the Pumpkin Spice Cafe because they wanted to go off in the ninth, which playoff baseball, you're supposed to do that, but my team still won. Philly fans seeing that. Yeah, but this will be all for the vlog. I'm gonna read 1984 after my bath, but again, just not enough time in the day to do everything that I want to do in the day. Yeah, I guess I could wake up earlier, but do I want to do that? No. I'm fine with my schedule, but there's no baseball tomorrow, so I will have a lot of time to read. I would love to finish the book so I could go do the remodeling stuff on Wednesday, but I don't know how possible that is. It's probably not too possible. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you made it all the way through, leave a baseball emoji in the comments below. And as always, comment, rate, and subscribe. And don't forget to ring that notification bell to be notified when all my videos go live. I'll see you in my next one. Bye!